Hey friends, it's Bridgie from Bougie Texas Barbecue, and on this episode, we are going to make an untraditional version of al pastor. Hope y'all are excited because I definitely am. Let's get into it. The very first step we're going to need to do is prepare our protein. And when I said this is going to be an untraditional recipe, I meant it. So I'm using pork spare ribs instead of pork butt. This is going to cut our cook time from 8 hours to closer to 5 to 6 hours, depending on the size of your ribs. Now, traditionally, al pastor needs to soak in your protein overnight, or even as long as 24 hours. So I'm going to show you this version that cuts your time in half, but you don't miss out on any flavor. So let's get into it. One of the main ingredients in al pastor is pineapple. So what I did is I injected my spare ribs with pineapple juice, and you're going to want to plump up your spare ribs. They need to look like they are on steroids. By injecting, it's the perfect way to ensure that your spare ribs are going to have pineapple flavor all the way through. Next step is to season. I'm going to use Oklahoma Joe's Texas rub, but you can use basically any all-purpose rub, a Tex Mex rub, or you can keep it simple and just use SPG. Now it's time to heat up our smoker. I'm using charcoal briquettes and mesquite wood chips. And because these ribs are pretty meaty, I'm going to fill up my hopper all the way to the fill line. After starting my fire starters, I'm going to let them breathe for a little bit, and I'm going to open up the vents. Last but not least, I'm going to set my Tahoma to 250 degrees before throwing my ribs on. I decided to use my Tahoma 900 because I know making that al pastor sauce is going to be time consuming. This saves me the step of having to manage a fire, which is a big help when you're multitasking. So I'm going to let these ribs smoke at 250 degrees for 2.5 hours. In the meantime, I'm going to show you how I make my al pastor sauce. In a greased skillet, you're going to add 1 medium yellow onion, saute for a few minutes, and then adding 1 cup of water. Next, you're going to add about 7 deseeded guajillo peppers and 3 ancho peppers, also deseeded. Don't worry, my full ingredient list will be down below in the description, but allow them to simmer for a few minutes and then add 1 Mexican cinnamon stick. Allow your peppers and cinnamon stick to soften, then allow them to cool before proceeding to the next step. In a blender, you're going to add 1 cup of fresh pineapple and 2 cups of pineapple juice, 1 chipotle pepper and adobo sauce, and then you're going to add your softened peppers. They don't have to be completely cooled, but not scorching hot either. The most important seasoning you need to add is 1/3 of a cup of achiote, along with a few other ingredients that are listed down below in the description. Now you're going to blend and strain. Do not skip the straining process, and here's why. This red orangey liquid is what we're going to add to our spare ribs. If you add this clumpy mess up here, you're going to get a bitter bite. Now our al pastor sauce is ready to go. So when I say drench your spare ribs, I mean drench them in this al pastor sauce. These ribs are exactly where I want them to be 2.5 hours into the cook. Now this step is optional, but I highly recommend adding fresh pineapple and pineapple juice when you wrap your ribs. Place them back onto the smoker face down until they are probe tender. Now the remaining cook time can range anywhere from another 2.5 to 3 hours if you stay at 250 degrees. And as I open my ribs up, I can smell the al pastor sauce, and the color is exactly what I wanted. And don't throw away any of your drippings that are on the bottom of your foil. For an extra strong al pastor taste, you can chop up your meat and toss them in those drippings. And I can see that the rib bones are literally ready to slide off. A soft bark with a tender bite is exactly what we want, since we're going to turn this into street tacos. Or you can skip the taco and just enjoy them as is. I promise it's going to be good either way. The final step, which is optional but I do recommend, is chopping up your rib meat into bite-sized pieces, which will be the perfect size for street tacos. Don't forget to check out the full recipe down below in the description, and let me know if you'll try this recipe at your next cookout. Till next time guys, enjoy.